Welcome to the Retail X virtual experience. Our Project Pivot video today is with Diana Ganz and Jeanne Foley from the Groomsman Suit. They're co-founders of the Groomsman Suit. Welcome to you guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Debbie.
Yeah.
So an especially challenging category right now, it would be the wedding category. You guys, just from appearance, you look like you're holding up really well. I know it's been challenging and tough. So, let's just start by, filling us in a little bit on what you've had to do, what you've had to strategize in order to pivot during this crisis.
Yeah, so it's been a very interesting and somewhat painful time for us because we had we really took off at the beginning of 2020, and our year usually starts in January when couples are planning their weddings, and we really see this huge spike in sales start in January and just continue on. And then unfortunately, when COVID hit, you see we felt it. We saw the drastic drop in sales, and it was a very scary moment for us. But I think like a lot of brands who were affected so drastically and felt it so hard, we really took the moment to focus and strategize and figure out how could we be a resource for couples who are going through this moment as well. So it wasn't necessarily all about us and our business and how do we survive, but it was all of these couples that had been planning their weddings for over a year, some of them, now faced with this moment where they had to think about whether or not it was actually even going to happen. So it's been a trying time, but I will say it's a great time for innovation right now, and figuring things out. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's just back up for a second. And if you could just fill our audience in on the brand, how long you've been around, and what the primary focus is.
Yeah, sure. So Jeanne and I launched the Groomsman Suit from our apartments in New York City in 2016. The idea really came, from Jeanne's experience planning her own wedding a few years prior, when the majority of her guys rented tuxedos, and it wasn't the best experience. They used a big brand, and it turned out to be pretty expensive. The logistics were poor, and nothing really fit well. And so, she has a fashion design background. So it, really caused her to pause and say, why don't men have better options? Women have so many options when we are asked to be a bridesmaid, and guys kind of are either forced to rent or spend $400 or $500 for purchase. So we kind of came together. We were best friends since third grade, and launched the Groomsman Suit to give men that better option, a suit or a tuxedo that's under $200 that they can own. And part of the whole concept too was not only giving them a great product, but giving them a great experience. And I think that has really been the key to our success. We've grown over 300% on average year over year since 2016. We're no longer shipping out of our apartments. We have now about 3 showrooms, or we were about to open a 3rd showroom in Denver, but we have one in Philly and Chicago.
But during a crisis like this, there are probably a lot of retailers out there who can learn from your experience, because you started as a direct-to-consumer brand online. So fill us in a little bit on what you've learned, and moving forward, if another sort of crisis happens in the world, what kinds of things have you learned, and would you be able to handle or do differently?
Yeah, I think in a way we were really lucky to have started as a digitally native brand, because and we started that way out of necessity. We didn't have a ton of money to build out a store, stock it. So like Diana said, we were in our living rooms and on our computers, and had a little storage unit, and had our extra bedrooms filled with suits. And that's how we started. So in a way, we're lucky that way in this particular instance, that we didn't have brick and mortar as the core source of income. But as a small brand, I think small brands are probably faring a little bit better than big brands right now, especially because we're much more nimble. You can make a big change to your business in one day, and we have done that ourselves. We've made huge changes just to keep up with this moment in time. But I think being online has been a huge benefit because people are stuck at home. They're Googling still. They're still on their phones looking at social media. So we're lucky in that way. But then as a small brand, you have other obstacles. So through the growth, the rapid growth that we've seen in our business, we've always thought about worst case scenario. What if we're relying on this one source for our suiting a little too much? What if this happens? What would be the, catastrophic situation that puts us out of business? So if you're always sort of thinking that way and not putting all your eggs in one basket, I think that's probably the advice or strategy we've had throughout this, is to really leverage ourselves, intelligently, so that we're not stuck in a really, really bad situation.
So do you feel like the showrooms, you'll continue to expand your brick and mortar showrooms, or you think they'll still be an important part of the business?
Yeah, so I mean, as our showrooms were closing in mid-March, we quickly rolled out virtual showroom appointments online, just as a way to still connect with couples. Like as Jeanne said, people are shopping from home. People, even though there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty in how and when large group gatherings are going to be permitted again, couples are still moving forward as best they can, and so they're still needing to find options for men's suiting and or wedding suiting and tuxedos. So in effort to connect with those individuals, we launched our virtual showroom option, and it's become pretty popular. It's been a very interesting test, because we have not only, are we able to meet with some of the couples that had already had appointments scheduled in our physical locations, but we are meeting with couples in Montana and North Dakota and in Hawaii. And so it's really expanded our range and ability to connect with customers all over the country. So we had plans in place to open a third showroom in Denver, Colorado. And I think, we still are seeing tremendous amount of value from our showrooms, and we're still we're still working on, how it all works and the profitability of them, and what types of appointments we're taking. But as we kind of think about this new space, this third space, maybe it incorporates a good portion or a strong component of a virtual showroom studio, so that we can even take our virtual appointments to the next level and have them really professionally kind of produced, if you will. So great lighting, we're meeting with the couples, where the connection is even that much better. And really kind of almost breaks the need for couples to feel like they have to ever go into a store again. So we're excited about that. It's just one of those silver linings.
So yeah, I think, with the virtual showrooms, today we've all gotten so used to being on Zoom videos or other types of, video chatting, that I think it's probably less of a challenge for you to make these virtual meetings a success, because we've all gotten so used to it. So sounds like you're definitely headed in the right direction with everything that you're doing. So thanks again for joining us today. Good luck with the rest of just the recovery, and I'd say some of the states are opening up again, and hopefully there'll be events happening. My son has a wedding plan for October, so I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to do that.
We are too.
So too. Everybody out there planning weddings or having special events, hang in there. It will recover. You will get your big day, and we will be thrilled to help anybody who needs it.
Yeah, I've been telling our couples, like, just think of it as a way, if you've had to postpone, just it's a few more months to save up on that bar tab, because it's going to be pretty big by the time you can actually have your wedding day. People are going to be so ready to celebrate and be together. So
very good point. Very good point.
There's going to be much more excitement around your big day than there ever has, ever was or ever was going to be. So
it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. All right. Well, thanks again
All
for
right,
joining us. Thanks to our audience, and look for more Retail X virtual content coming very soon.